Richard and Jackie from Early Retirement Wanderlust.
And we're in the second part of our Colorado adventures, where we're just getting a little bit off the beaten track.
So we're on the second part of our Colorado adventures. We have had an amazing few days in northern Colorado. We based ourselves around Fort Collins and we explored the Poudre Canyon and the Rocky Mountain National Park, which were just fantastic. But we've decided we're going to be a little bit different this time.
Yeah, and we're absolutely in the back and beyond. We've had a classic day today. We've found the most unbelievable campsite. We've had a really good walk and we're finishing the day off at this deserted pond. Just keeping fingers crossed that the moose come to visit, but it doesn't really matter whether they do or not because it's such a beautiful place to be.
Well, as you can see, we had the most amazing day yesterday. I think it was probably one of our best days on the trip so far.
We saw a moose, which was quite incredible. After we last spoke to you at the pond, we started making our way back down to the campground and Jackie just stumbled upon this beautiful female moose.
Yeah, she was just in a clearing in the forest, quite far in the distance, and there was a fence between us. So he stood for about 5 minutes watching her before she sauntered off back into the forest. It was just surreal.
And the campsite, I don't think we've probably done it justice on the video. It was just unbelievably wild.
Yeah, we were only 4 campers on the whole of the campground. There was warnings of a bear that keeps coming into the campground. We didn't see it, but we didn't sleep very well because of that. It's just very remote.
And it's just our sort of place. It was relatively cheap. I think it was $25 for the night. Its facilities were really, really basic, but everything that you could want. So there was a really flat park up for the van, and we had our own little picnic area and fire pit and barbecue. Didn't have any water, didn't have any electricity, didn't have any phone signal. It did have loos.
It did. I used them once, and that was it.
We can't quite get our head round the number and the widespread use of vault toilets. When you go in, they're clean, they look perfect, right up until you lift the lid. And, you know, I just can't get my head round it.
Okay, I'm moving on from toilets. We also had the most amazing sunset last night. The sky was just orange with blue streaks in it. It was beautiful. And then when the sun went down, the skies and the stars, because we were so far away from anywhere else, I can't put into words.
So we had a lovely fire, lying out under the stars, trying to keep the bears away, and yeah, it was a great night. So then we moved on yesterday, and we had a fair old trek through the Colorado mountains and the high mountains. At one point, Jackie was getting a bit of the jitters because we were getting a bit too high.
Yes, we came across the I-70, which goes right across from Denver to Salt Lake City in Utah, and it goes really, really high. At one point, we were in the snow line, and I thought that we were going to keep climbing, but we did come back down into a valley, and we made our way to Breckenridge.
Which our campsite is currently sitting at around about 9,000 feet, which is about 3,000 metres, which is still really high considering that we drove down off the highway to it. Breckenridge is just lovely. It really fired up our enthusiasm for skiing. We love ski resorts, whether it's winter or summer, but it was very pretty.
Well, it was also getting ready for the ski season. They're starting to make snow. There's snow on the peaks. The seasonaires are all arriving and very excited. There's a nice buzz about the town. It was busy.
And then Jackie sought out a little bit of artwork. The troll.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen pictures of these trolls before, but there is one in Breckenridge, and he's called Isaac, and we had to go on a bit of a search for him, but he was huge and absolutely stunning.
So then, in sharp contrast to our wild camping spot, the only place to stay in town, if you've got an RV, is where we stayed last night. And it's fair to say, it's not very wild.
No, it's probably the opposite to what we had the night before, but it was nice. It had a swimming pool and a jacuzzi. It's got this lake that we're standing by as part of the grounds. It's a nice campsite.
So for today, we're not entirely sure what we're going to do. We're going to pootle a little bit further south, probably pick up another couple of ski resorts or mountain resorts, and then see where we end up later on.
Somewhere in southern Colorado, I think.
See you later.
Bye. last spoke to you, we hadn't got a clue where we were going to go next. And as chance would have it, as we walked back through the campsite from filming, we bumped into a local and he gave us some amazing advice.
He said that for a good day out, we needed to go to Leadville, which was an old gold mining town. We then needed to head over the Independence Pass, which he was so excited that it was still open at this time of year, and then drop down into Aspen, which in his own words were, everyone's got to go to Aspen if they come to Colorado.
So the Independence Pass, we did a bit of research. You can't go on it if you are over 35 feet because it's too dangerous and there are such tight switchbacks that you can't actually have a turning circle. Our RV is only 25 feet, so that was not too bad, but it did make us a bit jittery.
It was, in the end, a great drive. I really enjoyed it. There were one or two times when there was soft shoulders that you just had to be a little bit careful of, and actually getting up to the Continental Divide was probably the easiest bit.
It was pretty awesome up there. It went up to 12,095 feet. That is just so high, and we were struggling to breathe properly, and it was really cold and snowy and atmospheric up there. It was beautiful, but the drive down, wow, the colours of the fall as you dropped down towards Aspen were just breathtaking. So then we got into Aspen, and Aspen we had really high expectations for, and it really met them. We had a wander around the town and we went into the iconic Jerome Hotel.
And our friend who'd recommended it to us said they're probably the most expensive beers you'll ever drink, but he says you've just got to do it one time and you've got to go to their living room bar and you've got to have a beer. And we did.
It was ace. We were the only people in there, but it was just such a cool atmosphere just looking around.
And true to form, it was probably the most expensive beer I've drunk at $32 for 2 beers. They were good beers.
They weren't even a pint.
But we put it down to life experiences. So we're not really sure where we're going to go again now.
The only thing we do know is we can't find any accommodation around Aspen, so we're off into the mountains.
See you later.
Bye.